so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 7, and I don't know the episode number, but I feel like this is like 12 or 13. I feel like it is, but y'all know I be wrong. What I will say is this episode didn't give much until the end, especially because we all wanted to see the confrontation between Deborah and Candace. But I feel like this episode basically was foreshadowing and setting up what is to come while they go on their trip. I think they're going to like Mexico or somewhere out the country, somewhere beachy and festive. But let's get into it. Y'all, let's get a little spicy. I feel like it's been a minute since I've done a spicy corner, but I think three things to talk about. First, Ashley. I feel like this is more of an update because I think I've mentioned this in my videos about Ashley dating that dude from like Winter House or Summer House. Honestly, I don't really watch that show. I know Winter House, they intermingled people from Southern Charm, but I don't know these people like that. I really don't. So when everyone was like, oh my God, Ashley's dating Luke, another Bravo celebrity, I was like, who is Luke? Who that man? I don't know that man. And I've only seen like clips of Summer House or Winter House. I have never watched a full episode of any of those shows. So I really don't know who these people are. I don't. But I know faces, and that's one thing I remember is people's faces. But this is coming from Queens of Bravo. I'll post all the links below or information below if you want to check this stuff out for yourself. And Ashley posted, they basically reposted a screenshot from another page called Comments by Bravo. And that was a picture on that page of a repost of Ashley posting a picture of her with Luke. And it says, definition of winter wonderland. I didn't know I missed the snow so much. Thank you for showing me the beauty of Minnesota. And then she added Luke. And then Robin was like, okay, so is this your boyfriend? And Queens of Bravo's caption was basically, Robin wants the tea. Honestly, I don't think it's that deep. I'm still under the impression that Michael just didn't want to be on the show. And this whole relationship that Ashley has with this Luke guy is just to kick up the dirt in our face, to pretty much like distract us. Because I really don't think she's getting a divorce from that man. Because Luke ain't got the money that Michael has, and we clearly can tell that Ashley likes being attached to Michael because of the status that he brings. We don't know who Luke is. We don't know if Luke got any money. But I only bringing this up is because I feel like I've talked about this in some of my videos, and I was just like, let me just give an update. So let's move on to the next thing. Our next topic. So I was on the neighborhood talk, basically just being nosy, trying to see what was going on. And I saw that they made this post, and it says, RHOP's Mia Thornton seemingly calls out Dr. Wendy Osefo for using the Jay-Z meme where he has on lipstick and lashes. And I was like, huh? So I read the post more. So they post a screenshot of Mia tweeting on Twitter, which I was surprised because I didn't know Mia came back to Twitter after the way everybody decimated her and flamed her on the internet after she had the altercation with Wendy. I would think in that skull of hers, in that brain of hers, that she would have known not to try to fight with that lady online or even try to sub her, because people don't like you right now, ma'am. Learn to shut up and sit there and be pretty and be quiet. So the Red Hulk decided to be like, this is what Mia tweeted. She said, if a man identifies as he/him, is it appropriate to post a photo of that man in drag? I need some hashtag unedited viewpoints. Enlighten me. So then somebody responded to her and say, drag is not an identity, it is an expression. So yes, it is fine. And I'm looking at Mia like, why are you tweeting opinions or questions that you can clearly Google? People that do that annoy me. Like, y'all act like Google is not free 99. And I Google everything. Google is free. Google it, lady. And it's like Mia just says things and tries to make things a moment because she lacks attention. Like, that lady wants attention. And I was like, you made yourself look stupid. So then I went on her page, her Twitter, to see if it was still up there, and she deleted it because everybody in them comments probably ate her dumb self up. You're just stupid, lady. You're stupid. Get it together, Mia. Get it together. let's move on to our last topic, and then we're going to get into this review. So the last thing we're going to talk about before we get into this review is Deborah in this corny video that she posted yesterday before the episode aired. The second hand embarrassment made me uncomfortable. Like, I was sitting there, like, when I watched that video, oh, I was like squirming in my seat. I said, why would you do this, Deborah? Like, what's not clicking? You are making this worse. You are making this way worse. So I was on Twitter and I saw it. I first saw the thing on the neighborhood talk, but then I went over to Twitter to see what my mutuals had to say. So I saw the video on Jay's reality blog and I was like, what is this? What is this? So I'm going to play the video and then I'm going to read the caption after I play the video and then I'm going to give you my thoughts and then we're going to get into this review.
Everyone. Oh, excuse me while I fluff my natural eyebrow. Okay. Oh, thank you, Elmo. So sweet. You know, I get a little hungry in the morning. Oh, hello, Miss Deb. I got a cookie for you. You too? Thank you so much, Cookie Monster. Thank you. I love my friends. I'm a little thirsty, though. Cookie Monster, are you getting emotional? Why? Because it's a new year. It's very exciting. Oh, let me help you. Let me fold this napkin up.
So that was the video. Y'all, when I tell y'all I had to keep stopping the video as it played because I kept getting uncomfortable. I was like, oh my, I said, you don't got real friends, lady, because this is a video you sent to like your sister or your brother or your cousins or your close friends to let them like, fill it out. Oh, girl. So this is the caption she posted on Instagram, and she said with underneath the video, and it says, my friends over at Sesame Street wanted to wish my diva butterflies a very happy new year. Most importantly, a happy true year. Will you all be tuning in tonight at 8 p.m. on at Bravo TV for the moment of truth to arrive on an all new episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac? Don't forget to grab your popcorn and teacups. And then I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not going to butcher it because I was struggling last time I tried to pronounce them Nigerian words. But yeah, girl, do you know how pressed you have to be to go and buy puppets in a Cookie Monster cup? Like, ma'am, unless you had them puppets for your children, you look mad corny and big mad, because I know for a fact that Cookie Monster cup probably cost you like maybe $8, because it's Sesame Street, and we're not going to act like Sesame Street don't be having high price stuff like Disney's characters. So that cup was probably between $7 to $8. Then them two puppets, because they were like decently sized, were probably like maybe between $15 to $20. So if we're just rounding up, you spent like $48 to make a corny video. A very corny and tired video that made you look thirsty as hell. The fact that I already knew you were thirsty when I went to your page after you were featured on one episode for less than 10 minutes talking to Ashley in the earlier part of the season, and you already had hashtag RHOP in your bio, I said, oh, you're Deborah. Let's move on to this review. So the episode opens up and we see Karen at the DC Improv or Improv DC. Low key, I feel like I've been over there. maybe once or twice because the area looks familiar, but a lot of places in DC be looking the same to me. But we find out that this event is going on during Pride, which I feel like was a cheat code for Karen. But we'll talk about that more when we get to the event portion of the show. The establishment isn't so big, but it's a comedy a comedy spot. And normally when you go to like comedy clubs, they're not that big. It's like because people are feeding off each other's laughter, and it's supposed to be like an intimate setting that you vibe with to make sure that the comedian is comfortable and the guests are comfortable. But like I said, this event is happening during Pride. We had a funny moment where Ray didn't know what grinder was, but Ray is of an age where I don't think, like, if he not into that type of stuff, I don't think he gonna know what grinder is. Because when he said, is it something underground? I said, what you mean, is it something underground? What? That was such like an elderly response. It really was. It really was. So we move over to Jacqueline popping up at Mia and Gordon's house. Side note, if y'all, I don't know if some of y'all, but y'all got to check out James Caldwell's channel or Spill It Boy TV. When I tell you, that man makes me laugh. When he calls Jacqueline, I don't know why that tickles me. Cause he says it so like naturally, like that's been like he says it to the point where it's like that's been her name. Like they never called her Jacqueline. They've always been calling her Jacqueline. And he was like, Jacqueline. I don't know why that tickles me. I so enjoy when he does his reviews on Potomac, just to hear him say Jacqueline. But Jacqueline pops up at me and Gordon's house. Y'all, this whole scene was weird, but it also reiterates to me that Gordon and Mia really don't got money like that. Gordon and Mia give me very much like we live off of credit card vibes, if you know what I mean. They really give like we live off credit card vibes, because when they were pouring wine for Jacqueline, and I didn't see it come out of a cellar, but last season Mia was talking about, I make $425,000 a year. That's what we bring in. We do the big bucks over here. But you don't have a wine cellar or a cooler? Like, I'd be nice to say a cooler. Like, coolers that you can get at Aldi's for like maybe $40 at that, and you can put about like 8 bottles in there and you can set the temperature. Like, you don't have that, but we calling people broke bitches. And you ain't got that. And I know some people like they wine warm. I don't like none of my liquor warm. Like, hard liquor always goes in the freezer because I wanted to go down smooth. The wine, if I'm going to open it, this is a fact about me. I will open it and then I will put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for like maybe an hour before I drink it. I don't want no like no room temperature wine. I want it to be cold. Okay. So they all sit down with Jacqueline, and it's the three of them. Honestly, the three of them made this weird. Y'all, and this is why I don't feel bad for Jacqueline, because I see so many people being like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for Jacqueline. Mia's like such a bad friend. Granted, I do think Mia is a bad friend, but I feel like Jacqueline knows who Mia is. If y'all have been friends since 15 years old, that's 9th grade. You know who you've been friends with. You even said if you would have met Mia when you were older, you would not have been friends with her. So you know who you're dealing with. And I think Jacqueline and Mia had a way that they were going to market their friendship, but it got out of hand. The issue with Mia is not witty. Mia has moments where she's funny and she comes with it a little bit. But the issue is Mia does not know how to weave narratives. So she just throws things out there to shock people, to get a reaction. But then when you start to question her about it, you realize she lying. Or she's putting 20 on 10 and it's not making any sense. So they're all sitting down on the couch. For some reason, G is like, he doesn't like the seating arrangement, because you see Jacqueline sitting beside G. There's a pillow in between them, and then you see Mia on the other couch. And so they start talking about it. We find out that I guess Gordon did give Jacqueline money to buy her car because she was in like a toxic relationship and she was paying a lot of money to get out of that relationship. I don't know if that means she was paying to like move away or something, like, because that's the only thing I think of is like, oh, you were trying to pay to, like, I guess move to another place to get away from that person. And then she touches his like arm, and it was like in a very like, we might have touched each other a few times in a very like sensual or sexual way. And it's just like, And like one of my mutuals, Bee Sting, was like, I saw on Twitter, she was like, I think Gordon was uncomfortable by, what's it called? By this conversation, or I think Gordon is uncomfortable with everything. And I think he is, but in my mind, I feel like Gordon's probably uncomfortable with people knowing what they do. Gordon is of a certain age, and those types of men of that age or that era, yeah, they want to, be out here doing their philandering, but they don't want everybody to know about it. Some men like to flaunt that type of stuff, but not all men. So it gave very much that he was uncomfortable. But when she touched his like arm like this, I was like, girl. And I'm like, you guys lend to this narrative. That's why I don't be feeling bad for Jacqueline. I don't. Because it's like, why are you touching him like that, ma'am? When there's already this information about you guys possibly passing each other around like a coupon book. Like, it was just like, girl. So then they start talking about like the whole like, oh, I think they think you're gonna be their sugar daddy, which didn't make sense to me. Honestly, what it gives to me is that Gordon, Mia, and what's it called, and Jacqueline probably have had sex together. Like they like maybe in the early onsets of their relationship, that was just something they like to do for fun. But Gordon clearly wanted to be with Mia, and then Mia probably was like, ooh, my friend can be put on. And Gordon probably put Jacqueline on to other friends. Cause it's giving very much that like they ran in them sugar baby circles, and Mia got lucky. Gordon picked her, took her out the strip club. Stevie, I'm never going back to the strip club. I don't know why Love and Hip Hop popped up in my head. And they started to like mess around, and then Mia wanted to put Jacqueline on, so she put Jacqueline on. But it does get very much that y'all probably passed each other around. Like y'all like to share one another. That whole like we like to like take showers together. Don't nobody need to know that. No one needs to know. We don't need to know. So let's move on to the next two scenes. Okay, y'all. So I'm going to try to be nice in this segment when we talk about Miss Deborah. So y'all know beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Let me give this disclaimer. And we should not be talking about people's looks. We should not, because us all looking different is genuinely what makes us beautiful. If we all look the same, it'd be lame. We know the world would be lame. That's why everyone always talks about how none of the plastic surgeons know how to make different people's faces, because they all end up having that same look. And we all think it's weird because people starting to look like clones. So we should not make fun of people's looks. We shouldn't. But in this regard right here, I'm going to say some things, because I feel as though when you decide to be a liar and be messy, then you open up yourself to get flamed by people on the internet. And it is what it is. It is what it is. So let's get into it. So we see Ashley out with her friends. They call themselves the PYTs. And we find out that, Deborah and Ashley have only known each other for like a year and some change. So I know for a fact when the reunion comes around, Deborah is probably going to get thrown under the bus and ran over several times by Ashley, because she don't really know that lady like that. We see her friend Jules, which I think she's white, or maybe she might be mixed, but she was giving very much Caucasian lady. But she's known Ashley for 12 years. And then the brown girl, I think her name is Robin, and she was in that picture that they tried to say was the picture that Chris was trying to holler at Ashley with in the beginning of the episode when she said that she got DM'd by Chris. I think her name is Robin as well. So they call themselves the PYTs. They have a group chat where they try to encourage each other and really lift each other up as they go through life friendship kind of thing, normal friend stuff. Giselle pops up and they talk about the divorce with Michael and stuff like that. Then Giselle does what Giselle does and starts to produce the scene and asks Deborah, so what's up with this whole Chris situation? Like, what's going on with Chris? And so Deborah decides she wants to tell us. So I'm going to tell Deborah's story first, and then I'm going to tell y'all what production showed us. So Deborah tells the group that she was at the bar. Chris pulled up on her at the bar. He basically introduced himself to Deborah. Deborah, he's like, hi, my name is Christopher, which I was like, that doesn't sound right, because we've never heard Chris call himself Christopher. We've never heard that man call himself that. So he's like, oh, my name is Christopher. Deborah responds back, or this is Deborah said she responded back by saying, oh, my husband's name is Chris. So then she said Chris leans up against the table or the bar by saying, well, us Chris's are the same or are a lot similar, like trying to smooge with her and flirt with her. She then says Happy Eddie, which, Wendy's husband, rolled up behind her, but not behind her, but behind Chris, trying to join in on the conversation and flirt with her as well. But he was more subdued when it came to that conversation. So Giselle is looking like she's shocked, but she's also looking like, Ashley, this is all you could give me as somebody to to add to this plot, because look at Deborah. Who gonna believe that they was trying to talk to Deborah compared to Candace and Wendy? Really, Ashley, this all you got? Like, a lot of people were saying that it would have been more believable if the brown skinned friend that was sitting beside Giselle, I think her name is Robin, was the person that Eddie and Wendy were trying, not Wendy, Eddie and Chris were trying to hit on, because that seems to be both of their types, brown skin, slightly dark skinned women. So, and you looking at Deborah like, I don't know about this. So then production shows us what really happened. So you see Chris at the bar. He's leaned up on the bar at the spring fling, but he's not paying Deborah any attention. No attention. They then show us a surveillance camera shot, and you can hear Chris is up against the bar, and you hear Deborah introducing herself first. She initiated the conversation where she's like, oh, I like this pink on you, or that's a nice pink whatever, because remember Chris had on a pink blazer to offset Candace's red and pink outfit, and Chris is like, oh, thank you. So then Deborah's like, oh, my name is Deborah, and Chris is like, oh, my name is Chris, and Deborah then says, oh, my husband's name is Chris. But you can hear in Chris's response oh, okay, cool, it was more so why are you telling me this? That's cute. And then the conversation cuts. So it's and nowhere in there you hear him trying to flirt with her. You then see Eddie walk up, and Eddie's just being Eddie, smiling and greeting him, greeting everybody. So I'm looking at Deborah girl, you really lied. And if I was Ashley's friends, the brown girl, Robin and Jules, I would be pissed at Ashley or mad at Ashley at this moment, because you got Ashley in her confessional talking about, oh, my girls don't lie. Jules was over there. My Jules and Robin were over there too, and they saw everything, and they can corroborate this story, and my girls don't lie. And it's production just made them liars. So your whole clique look like they full of liars. Whole clique look like they full of liars. Whole clique. So they're talking, and they're basically saying Giselle's do you know, Ashley asks, do you think I should tell Wendy? And Giselle's you might need to. So Ashley's okay, I'm going to tell Wendy. They then they start talking about Candace and her response to this information. And Deborah's well, did you tell her? And Ashley's yeah, but she didn't really receive it well. Ashley's whole thing is oh, I want to protect Candace, or I want to give her a heads up, so because she's trying to get pregnant, and I don't want what happened to her to happen to me, where I got pregnant, and after I had my baby I got cheated on. And I'm cut the crap, Ashley, because if you really cared about her, you wouldn't be doing this, because Candace has told y'all several times I don't care, I don't believe what you guys are saying, and stop it. As well as when y'all were at the vineyard, you pretty much was feeling vindicated in what you were doing. You were trying to embarrass Candace because you felt like she embarrassed you, because she was oh, you don't like it when it's you, do you? Are you trying to deflect at Candace? And it's ma'am, just own the fact that you're being messy. Don't try to shroud this in this whole women empowerment type crap where it's I'm trying to protect her. You're not trying to protect her. You're trying to be a dick, and you're being a dick, and it is what it is. You know what? I'm gonna say what I got to say about Deborah for the last scene. So, because I got a lot to say. So we then see a flash. Like we go to another scene where we see Eddie and Wendy, and they're at the house. And Wendy's talking about how she's like tired of being cooped up in the house, but she is glad to be around her family. I thought the scene was cute with the little son when Eddie told Wendy that, like, oh, I got you a blueberry donut. And the little boy looked at him like, you lying. So he basically said he didn't get you no donut. He got himself a donut. And I really feel like the little boy was like, you ain't get me no donut, so I'm about to bust you out. It was a cute scene. So we see Eddie and Wendy sit down in the den, and we find out that Ashley and Wendy had a meetup, and Ashley ends up telling Wendy about what Deborah said. Wendy pretty much laughs it off because I think everybody knows what Deborah looks like and they know they're men. So Eddie was like, what? Because she was like, they called you Happy Eddie, and they said you were smiling in her face. So Eddie's like, I can't smile at people no more, so I'm just supposed to meet people with a mean mug. Like, and I said, y'all are stupid. Y'all are stupid because no one believes this because it's Deborah. Because it's Deborah. So they laugh it off. They legit laugh it off. Like, they were just like, he not going nowhere. And I love when Wendy was in her confessional and she was like, Eddie is happy. Look at me. I said, come on, girl. Come on. Let him know. Let him know. But I will say, Wendy better eat Ashley's up at the reunion, or at least check her. I don't think she's going to eat her up because Wendy wants to be friends with Ashley. After Wendy said that Ashley and her hang out and they're cool and they're like somewhat close, I don't think she's going to flame Ashley, but she better check her. Because I don't understand why she want to be friends with Ashley, but that's just me. That's me. Be friends with who you want to be friends with. But I definitely think Wendy needs to check Ashley at the reunion where she tells her verbatim, play with my marriage again and we done. Don't ever. The same way she reacted to Giselle and Robin last season, she need to do the same thing to Ashley. But I don't think she's going to do that because she wants to be cool with Ashley. That's just how I feel. So I feel. Because at that meeting that they had, at like when they met up, I was like, girl, you're not giving Ashley no smoke. No smoke. That's why this is a flashback, because you ain't give her nothing. You ain't give her nothing. But let's move on. All right. So the next scene we have is of Mia, Giselle, and Robin meeting up at this cute little, like, I guess it's like clean eating spot. But they meet up and they get to gossiping. So pretty much Giselle and Robin let it spill that Karen and them all met up. So it was the OGs. So Karen, Ashley, Robin, and Giselle met up, and Karen basically spilled the tea that Mia examined Jacqueline's you-know-what with a flashlight, and as well as she messed with Peter's girlfriend. So Mia is taken aback because she feels like Karen shouldn't be spilling her tea. But I feel like, Mia, you said all of this stuff to get a reaction, and you said it on camera. So why would you not think it would be discussed amongst the group? And so Mia's kind of like, ugh, I can't believe she said something. Like, I know why she really doesn't like Charisse, and I haven't said anything about it. And I'm like, girl, we'll say it, because you said it twice in this episode. Like, you know what's going on. So tell us what's going on. But whatever. So they're sitting at the table. Mia shows how much she doesn't read, because I think Giselle was like, so we heard you was Jacques Cousteauing it, basically the one of the explorers. And she was like, Mia was like, what? Like, she was so, like, she did not know what that meant. And so Giselle was like, well, why were you doing that? Robin asked, like, was she itching? And then Mia's like, oh, no, I was just curious. I'm like, girl, you have a vagina. Look inside your own, or go on the internet and Google it. Ain't nobody that I'm friends with, I'm going down there. I don't want to see my friends like that. I don't want to know what it looks like down there, okay? I don't want to know. As long as you're healthy and your pH is okay, good for you. So Robin asked, like, was she itching? And she's like, oh, no. I was like, what? I said, Mia, this story doesn't make sense. So then they move over to the whole Peter Thomas girlfriend situation. And Mia acts like she doesn't want to answer the question. And then she answers it where she says that, and she lied, and Robin caught her up in it, because she ends up asking they asked like, okay, so what happened? We find out that I guess he did some type of G had some type of foreplay situation with the girl at the bachelorette party, and Mia crashed it, and I guess they did things together or something, or she watched them. But at first she said that they had sex on the night of their wedding, and Robin was like, on the night of your wedding? But then she said, oh no, he did it the day before at the bachelorette party. So it's like, why are you lying? Why are you lying? But she says that her and the girl aren't cool anymore, but she was really nice. And we find out that the girl was like a singer at the singer at their wedding. Like she sang while Mia was walking down the aisle. All I know is Mia just says things just to get a reaction. But like I said in the spicy corner, when you start to ask her questions about things, she's not smart enough to like not make herself look less than. Because it's like you make yourself look less than smart and very stupid, because it's like, why are you lying? Like, if you're going to talk about transparency, be legitimately transparent. Tell the truth with no shame. With no shame. And move on. But Mia says she's not going to tell Karen anything anymore, or she's going to confront her. So they show up at Karen's improv thing. And here's my thing. For Karen to be talking all that smack about Robin and Giselle's event, Karen's event was a cop-out to me, because you had Jasmine Masters there. One of like the girls that everybody knows off of RuPaul's Drag Race. And you did this during Pride. People came there to see Jasmine. They did not come there to really see Karen. Like, maybe Karen being there was like cute because she was hosting it. But like, y'all, this wasn't Karen's show. Like, I think they showed how long the show was like 75 minutes, and Karen only spoke for like 29. And I'm like, then this wasn't your show. Because Jasmine had two sets. She opened the show and she closed the show. They also had a comedian. And once I realized this was like an event during Pride, I was like, you kind of copped out. Because it's Pride. Everyone wants to go to events. Of course, people are going to go see Jasmine. And then when they find out that like, oh, the RHOP girls are going to be there, they're going to see if mess is going to pop off. When I saw this event taking place online, I legitimately thought that like before all of this, before the show aired it, I thought that it was Karen's full show, but to find out that she had like an opening act, then it really, to me, I feel like it was Jasmine Masters' thing, because Karen didn't even do nothing. She hosted it. So it's not your show if you're hosting, because you didn't even have a segment for yourself. I was like, Karen, if you gonna take people's stuff, do it better than them. And I think it was slightly better, but it was only better because Jasmine Masters was there. And Jasmine Masters is funny and a great drag queen and a great performer. At least when it comes to Robin and Giselle, they were doing this stuff by themselves, like for themselves. Like this was their own event. So I feel like Karen half-assed it, in my opinion. We see everybody comes there. Ashley's messy and she brings Deborah. Jacqueline likes to make herself look even stupider than Mia, because they start talking about the whole, like, Mia looking into Jacqueline's what. And Jacqueline's like, is that when, are they talking about when I had a yeast infection? I said, girl, who says that out loud? I said, Jacqueline, that's gross. And I know yeast infection. I don't need nobody to educate me. I know those are pretty common. I know that they are. There's plenty of things that can knock off your pH down there. But I'm not going around telling people I had a yeast infection as a grown woman. I would never. Never. And for Jacqueline to say it so like candidly, I said, who raised you? So then we see Mama die and Candace getting ready to go. It was funny that her mom did not like her shoes, because it was a very much mom response. Because she was like, what, you gonna wear your slippers? And Candace was like, no, these are my shoes. And she was like, oh, I thought they were slippers with the little thing. Okay. I said, that's what a mom would do. Like, they don't want to outright tell you your outfit is ugly, but they're going to nitpick it to make you change, because it's going to be like, okay. All right. So Mama Dot ends up going to the improv with them, with Candace. So we found out that Charisse isn't there. Candace invited everybody, not Candace, Karen invited everybody except Sharice. And they were like, well, couldn't Sharice just be somebody's plus one? But I guess she felt some type of way that Karen didn't invite her. Well, Karen felt some type of way because there was a video when they were all at the club when they were in Miami and they had a Barbie nipple slip. So basically, Karen was toasted, Mia was toasted, and a nip slip happened. We saw some titty. Okay, from both of them. And I guess Sharice was trying to be funny in the group chat and she reposted the video in the group chat. And Karen wasn't impressed. Because Karen said, I feel like she did that to get a rise out of me. And she know I don't like her. So I'm just like, I don't like it. So Karen said she not invited. And they end up showing like the text conversation. And basically Sharice was like, that the thing that the video kept popping up in her feed on like I guess her phone and that she had a good time in Miami. And at first Karen laughed it off in the group chat, but I guess she's just like, I don't like this girl. Why you posting videos of me? But I saw a lot of people that were upset by that. They were like, why are you recording people when they're drunk? Which I understand. You do that when you're like with your friends. But Sharice isn't Karen's friend, so it is sus and it's op behavior for you to record someone when they're inebriated and then like post it in a group chat if you didn't get consent from them. Like it's like, oh, you were trying to make me look stupid in front of the group. So no. So no. All right, y'all. So the last two scenes. So we have Mia confronting Karen, and honestly, y'all, it didn't do anything for me. I really wasn't paying attention. I remember seeing this like a couple of months back when it actually like happened. And it didn't do anything for me then, and it didn't do anything for me now. Karen basically brushes Mia off. Mia starts lying about how she's transparent when it's like you're transparent and you're full of lies. You be out here just lying, just fabricating stories. So I was over it. So we have Deborah, like the ladies are still sitting at the table. Robin tells Candace that Deborah is the girl that Ashley was talking about when they were at the vineyard. And some people were feeling like Robin was trying to kick up the mess. But in this moment, I felt like Robin was actually being a friend to Candace because nobody else told her at the table. Nobody else told her at the table. Like, I don't even know if Wendy knows what Deborah looks like because we didn't see Wendy tell Candace who she was. So I was like, no, I think Robin was really trying to be a friend to Candace. So Ashley, I think, tries to introduce Deborah to Candace, and Candace cocks her head to the side and she smiles. And I said, that's when they should have known to abort mission. Anytime somebody cocks their head to the side and they smile and it's supposed to be like a serious situation, or you're trying to confront them, just knowing in their heads, girl, they are about to verbally waste your ass. Like, they are about to read you so bad, you probably are going to want to fight or go home crying and calling your therapist. Because the way Candace said, like, you want to talk to me? I said, oh, girl, stop it. And you could tell Deborah wasn't comfortable because them eyebrows was at the top of her forehead, because Deborah was like she kept looking around. So I think Ashley tried to introduce Deborah to Candace, and Candace said something to the effect of, oh, so you're that girl, so you're the girl that my husband groped. And Deborah said so. Deborah's like, no, I'm that girl, but I'm not, but he didn't do any of that to me. But there's others. I said, okay, Deborah. So Candace is like, so what did he do? And Deborah reiterates the same story about him calling himself Christopher, introducing himself. And Candace is like, girl, that's it. So Candace was like, I'm not about to have this argument with this Muppet, this Sesame Street character. She full of lives. This is imaginary. This is pretend. I'm not doing this. So the event wraps. They're clapping. I thought it was crazy that they didn't have enough money to pay to get the clearance to play Jasmine's songs. I was like, Karen, you supposed to be the grand dame. Grand dames are supposed to have money. Pay them people. Pay Jasmine. We wanted to hear her songs. So they're all getting up to leave, and Ashley is trying to ghost produce and trying to get Debbie and Candace to interact. And Deborah's like, Candace, do you want to have a private conversation with me, Candace? And Candace clearly said, no, ma'am, and turned her head and was like, let's go, mama. Get your things. Let's go, Mama Dot. Let's roll out. And then Ashley is like, oh, why are you being so dismissive to my friend, Candace? This is what you did to Jacqueline. And I said, girl, shut up. Shut up, Ashley. Deborah looks stupid. Ashley looks stupid. Just stupid, 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 stupid. Everybody just looks stupid. Gosh. So here's my thing and what I got to say about Miss Deborah. Ma'am, if you gonna be messy, you got to be the part. You got to look the part, ma'am. I need you to be in your Sunday's best if you gonna be messy. You rolled up at Karen's event in a Shein like 30% off shirt. It gave very much that you did not press that shirt, that you did not iron that shirt, and you had loose strings. And it just wasn't it, sis. It wasn't it. Even when you had the conversation with Ashley and her little group, and they call yourself the PYTs, sweetheart, they're not your friends, because everybody at that table was giving a little bit, and you were giving very much. I just got off my receptionist job like 10 minutes ago, and I had to get on the metro to get here. I had to catch the orange line or the red line, to get here to be with y'all, because your hair was looking dry. I didn't know if that was your hair. I didn't know if it was clip-ins. Girl, it was giving very much. It needs to be moisturized. And like I said, you can tell that they're not that cool with Deborah, and that maybe the other two girls, I think her name is, I'm calling that lady Robin, and I hope that's her name. Robin and Jules are really Ashley's friends, because the brown chick had her hair done, slicked down, had on like her shoulders out in a cute little dress. You had Jules with her hair in a ponytail and a black little dress, and then you got Ashley in that leopard dress with a new wig on. And then you got Deborah sitting there, like I said, like she just got off her receptionist job 10 minutes ago to come film this scene. They didn't even give you time to get your hair done, girl. I said, oh, sis, you're gonna get thrown under the bus. You're gonna get thrown under the bus. As well as Deborah, thread them eyebrows. Thread them, like shape them up or do something. They should not be that thick. They shouldn't. Honestly, while I was watching that, like the whole scene, I'm gonna make this analogy, and I hope it makes sense, because it makes sense in my head. As a black girl who grew up in the suburbs of Northern Virginia and who went to a pretty large, predominantly white school, when I tell you the way the cheerleaders and the dance team used to beef, Deborah gives dance team girls. At my school, you knew who was a cheerleader and you knew who was a dancer. And Deborah gives very much, she's always second choice. Like, I was like, oh, girl, you're giving dance team realness. You're not a cheerleader. She's giving, I think she's giving cheerleader attitude, but you're a dancer. And at my school, our cheerleaders were elite. They was going to state, they was going to regional, they was winning competitions. Dancers, not so much. Not so much. But they had beef. But you could always tell who was a cheerleader and who was a dancer. Deborah gives that she's trying to be picked, or she thinks she's always going to be picked. Deborah, you're not a preference. I think you're a preference because you run with the preferences, but you're not a preference, ma'am. You're really not. You're not. And I'm sorry to say that, because I think you are, but I think the internet has shown you, sis, you're not a preference. You're not. And I slightly feel bad for you, because I think you were a cheerleader, a preference. And it's like, baby, you really a dancer. You a bench dancer. You're not even on the mat with the girls doing the kicks in the tumble, sis. You get to put on the costume, but you're not out there when it's time for the pep rally. You're just holding the signs. Like Deborah. And I feel bad. And the reason why I feel bad, like I said, I think Deborah thought she was a preference. And it's like, girl, you finding out that you not. A lot of people don't see you as that. And I know for a fact, if Deborah has pissed off anybody in like high school or middle school, or, if she pissed off even in college, I know they're talking Cash Money trash about her. in the group chats. I know they are flaming her because I would be one of them people. It's just like, I'd be like, girl, did you see what the people saying? Because even in that video, the video that I talked about in the spicy corner, it has 600 quote tweets. And when I tell y'all, I went through them quote tweets and the way people were flaming that girl, I said, oh, she gonna need therapy after this. She gonna be sitting at the therapist. Do I look like a Muppet? Like Tamar on The Real. Ooh, Deborah. Ooh, Miss Debbie. Deborah, you got with the wrong team. Oh, you got with the wrong team, sis. Oh. And you made it worse with that video. That video was so corny because you flipped you tried to get Candace about the whole crying thing by flipping the corners of the napkin to dab on the puppet's like eyes. And it's like, but she looked better than you. So this whole thing about you being with your friends during the New Year's, it doesn't disqualify that she looks better than you. You just made yourself look lame, which adds more to people not finding you attractive because it's now you're lame, corny, and got bushy eyebrows. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it. But that's all I got to say. So let's end this video. So that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.